In order to draw up a list of the most beautiful countries in Europe, we have taken into account a number of factors such as the number of UNESCO heritage sites, the percentage of protected areas in each country, the degree of satisfaction of tourists on platforms such as TripAdvisor, tourists received every year, and openness of the local population in receiving and welcoming foreign visitors. These are the most beautiful countries in Europe. Number 10. Croatia. Croatia is an authentic treasure to discover. The country has suffered a burst of tourists in recent years, much because of the fame gained during the filming of the series Game of Thrones in Dubrovnik. But this is not the only breathtaking destination of this Balkan country. A mild climate, a rich history, and the Adriatic Sea giving a touch of blue make this small nook a great place to recharge your batteries. Number 9. France. France is an inevitable country in this type of lists. Once considered as one of the most romantic destinations in the world, France has long since ceased to limit itself to visiting Paris. This wonderful country has plenty to offer and numerous medieval towns to visit. France has a different destination for the taste of each person, and each of us can find in this country our favorite place. Number 8. Norway. Norway is distinguished from the rest of Scandinavia by its green beauty and breathtaking scenery. Let's be honest, the fjords will undoubtedly be Norway's major tourist attraction, but they are far from being the only one. Cities and towns like the capital Oslo, Lofoten and Stavanger are attracting more and more tourists. Number 7. Ireland. Despite being just a small island and having a fairly uniform landscape, Ireland is, in fact, full of interesting places to visit. The most famous is undoubtedly Dublin, its capital. But not only that. Throughout the territory you will find small typical villages and some almost abandoned castles that give the landscape a unique melancholy and, combined with the history of the country, will make you feel in a kind of medieval kingdom typical of the books of knights and princesses. Number 6. Austria. If you think that Austria is just a slightly different version of Switzerland, you're wrong. Yes, of course, Austria also has green or snowy mountains in the winter, but you just need go to cities like Vienna or Salzburg to realize that it may be very different from neighboring Switzerland. In addition, you can count on authentic pearls practically unknown to most tourists, such as the small village of Hallstatt, a small lakeside paradise that will surely be a must-see if you want to visit Austria. Number 5. Switzerland. What is most striking in Switzerland are its mountains. The Alps, always spring green or snowy in the winter. But Switzerland is not just that. Historical cities like Bern, Montreux and Zurich offer tourists something more to visit than just mountains and lakes. In addition, you can find small villages nestled in the valleys of the mountains and on the edge of some of the many lakes that exist in Switzerland, places worthy of a postcard that lead you to rethink what is, in reality, quality of life. Number 4. Iceland. Iceland is just an island lost in the North Atlantic. Is it? Perhaps not. International tourists seem to have discovered a mythical and legendary country, filled with volcanoes, waterfalls and glaciers. But let yourself be discouraged if you think that Iceland is just that. In addition to being able to see volcanoes and glaciers, you can still see the aurora borealis or dive into the sea and see the place where the tectonic plates cause America to be gradually moving away from Europe. Number 3. Portugal. Portugal is perhaps the most recent jewel in Europe discovered by tourists. If it was formerly a country known for the beaches of the Algarve and visited mainly by tourists in search of the sun, but today the scenery is very different. Foreign tourists have finally begun to discover other regions. And they also discovered the beautiful historical little villages of Portugal and the charming shale villages. It is true that Portugal continues to be a beach destination, but it is also true that the search for more specific and quality tourism has exploded in recent years. Number 2. Spain. Spain is a peculiar case. There are several countries within Spain, and we do not speak only about the autonomous. We are speaking of the enormous variety of landscapes that exist within Spain. If you visit this country, you can choose to get to know the mountainous landscape of Asturias or the beaches of Andalusia, for example, not to mention its islands, such as the Balearic Islands, the Canary Islands. Cities such as Barcelona, Seville, Madrid, Toledo, Salamanca add even more options to tourists, given the high number of monuments and points of interest they have. Number 1. Italy. Italy never disappoints. It is a country with an immense variety of landscapes that can go from its huge mountains in the north to its beautiful beaches in the south, or to volcanic landscapes like Vesuvius or Etna, in addition to the rolling and melancholy of the fantastic landscapes of Tuscany. But it's not just that. Italy was the cradle of the Roman Empire and the Renaissance, and for that very reason the number of historical attractions to visit is really considerable. And there are hundreds of small villages or large cities to visit that are full of history and monuments, the most notable being Rome, Venice, Milan, Bologna, Pisa and Florence.